I think you might have been born in the wrong place at the wrong time. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, United States was probably the best place to be. It was fantastic. Same with the UK, I would say. Because back then, a lot of our parents of our generation were going to those places to move, to build a better life. Now is the opposite. People are leaving in record numbers to places where they're treated better. You know, nobody wants to be getting arrested for tweets. Nobody wants their family to be in danger any more than they have to be in other places around the world. And people just want a better life, better quality of life, better satisfaction of their day-to-day. They don't want to be sitting in a commute for an hour and a half every day. They don't want to live out of a cubicle. They don't want to eat poisoned food. They want to live a better life. And better life at this time is simply somewhere else. Now listen, everybody should go where they're treated best. And if New York is your jam, then, bro, I'm happy for you. But if you feel like there is something pulling you away, if you feel like you might want something more out of life, if you are not happy where you're at, if you don't want to pay super high taxes, if you want to have lower cost of living, and if you want to just live in a magical place full of culture, full of vibrancy, full of life, with warm people, with safety, then yeah, you might want to consider going to a different place where it's going to be the right time for you to build your life, build a business, grow your career, become a fisherman. Bro, like whatever you want to do, chances are you're going to have a better time and more success doing it in places like this. In Croatia alone, there's so many places like this. Montenegro, Tivat with Porto Montenegro, it's called Monaco of the Balkans. It's fantastic. You've got Albania as well. It's one of the cheapest countries in the Balkans, and it has incredible coastlines. But like, there's a lot of places around the world, right? And it's up to you to decide if you think where you're at now is a good place for you, and you're there at the right time, or if potentially you might have missed the train and you should find a better place. Now, what that place is, I can't answer that for you. You've got South America, you've got Southeast Asia, right? You've got the Balkans, which obviously I'm making content around, and that's my favorite place in the world for many reasons. You've got also Eastern Europe. So like, there's a lot of good places, and it ultimately just depends on you, what kind of life you want to live, and all of them have their advantages and disadvantages. You can absolutely make the decision to move, right? Move to places like this and start a life here. Now, is it easy? No, of course not. If it was easy, everybody would do it. That's the famous quote. And most people end up either neglecting it and delaying it for so long because there's more important things to do, until it just never happens and they stay stuck where they're at forever, and they probably end up staying in denial, thinking it's gonna get better, could be worse, or they simply get overwhelmed and I guess intimidated by what they need to do. They just give up on it. Neither of which is a pretty picture, but trust me, if you actually make it one of your priorities and you put some time into it and you actually want to make this happen, you can. And the scenario is going to look different based on where you want to move and also where you're moving from. But you're not going to be the first person to make it happen. You're not going to be the last person to make it happen. And so, yeah, I think it's worth giving it a thought and seeing, you know, because me personally, I am in love, and I have been for a long time with these places. And I think I'm not alone, you know. Like, there has been increasing amounts of people from Western Europe and the US pouring into Croatia, Montenegro specifically, and other places. If this feels like a right move for yourself, it's a good time to start working towards it. I don't think it's going to become any easier as time goes on. A lot of the advantages that were here 3-4 years ago are gone. A lot of the advantages and possibilities that are here now will be gone in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Some of these countries are considering joining EU, which is going to drive up the prices a bit. Now again, even after those increases, you're still going to be way better off here. It's still going to be 25-30% cheaper than in maybe US, London. Now it's maybe 50% cheaper in some areas. It's not going to be any easier. Might as well give it a shot, might as well commit to it and make it happen. And first and foremost, a lot of people wouldn't consider Balkans as their first choice. And so first thing you want to do is just come out here. Just see what life is like. See if you just like it as a traveler, as a nomad or as a tourist. And then if you do some more research, find some places that are livable long term, and come here for a longer period of time to see if you could actually live here long term, right? And then what's going to change in your life about your mentality, because right now you're operating on a specific system, right, that you've developed by living where you're at. Maybe in a big city, very, very possibly in a big city. And that's just something that slowly breaks down and falls apart as you live in here, The tempo slows down and it's uncomfortable at first. But then when you allow it to fall off, like, you wouldn't go back, You wouldn't go back. And so, yeah, I wanted to share this with you in case this has ever crossed your mind. And if it has, I think that's amazing. If it hasn't, I hope this video maybe brought some of these thoughts to the surface and you'll consider this a bit more. And yeah, if you're curious about this sort of topic, I've built out a very good school group that's free now. So I'll put the link down below and you can jump in, explore. I'm planning to make these projects in terms of my YouTube, the school, and a few other things sort of connected and make them into something big, into something that can build community and a movement even of sorts. And so yeah, I'd love to have you a part of it if this is something that resonates with you. And yeah, consider this.